What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to talk about my Kingdom Cup team for the Pokemon Go Silph Arena PvP tournament. So we're just going to dive into the ins and outs of what members I have on my team, why I have them, what they're good against, what they're bad against. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Pokemon Go PvP content. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, diving right into my Kingdom Cup team for the Pokemon Go PvP Silph League Arena tournament this month. Obviously, the number one Pokemon for this tournament is Lucario, so the fact that I do have a Lucario, that is going to be my first pick. King Lucario, who can wipe pretty much every Pokemon in the meta if they don't have shields, and dominates a lot of the Pokemon we'll see in the meta with just his counter and power-up punch. So obviously, as you see on the left, some big time wins is going to be against Bastiodon, Steelix, and Lapras, and then some of the losses, heavy losses, are going to be against a Blaziken and a Charizard. There are other things that can beat a Lucario, such as a Lowland Marowak and things like that, but just for visual sake, the big time losses right there, Blaziken and Charizard. So then my second pick, I need something that can help cover Lucario's weaknesses while also doing some decent neutral damage or super effective damage to a good share of Pokemon in this tournament. That's going to be my Lapras. Now my Lapras, the only legacy one I have is a double legacy, so it has Ice Shard, Ice Beam, and Surf. Otherwise, the Laprases that I have just have Water Gun and Surf, and they're not powered up, so I'm going to roll with my Ice Shard Lapras because Surfs can cover those fire Pokemon and do some good damage against Steelix and Bastiodon and things like that. So that Surf can wipe out, a Blaziken, do a ton of damage to Charizard, and the Ice Shard will really cover all the dragons very well, and then Ice Beam, of course, covering the dragons very well. So it's definitely a good pick for this tournament and a solid counter. Now it does get beat up by Lucario, it gets beat by Bastiodon, and then it can lose to Melmetal as well, and that's just going to depend on where it comes into the fight there, but those Rock Slides or Thunderbolts we're going to be doing super effective damage to Lapras, so that's why Melmetal's there. So in my third pick is a Pokemon that you guys have seen me use a lot of, and I love Steelix because first of all, it's very tanky. It's got a very solid move set in terms of it has a strong quick attack, it has a good short charge move of Crunch, and then it has a really big potential one-shot of Earthquake, which will cause people to second guess themselves on whether to shield or not, and if they choose wrongly, they could get wiped out. So that's why I have Steelix, because Steelix not only is a great Pokemon, but he covers a lot of good Pokemon in this tournament. So he beats Bastiodon, he beats Altaria, and he beats a Lowland Marowak, which are big threats in this tournament, so that's why I have him there. Another shield in this shield, sword, and flyer Kingdom Cup meta. But obviously he loses to a lot of things, so he'll lose to the fighting Pokemon, which is going to be Lucario, Blaziken, and then he's going to lose to that Charizard because of that Blast Burn. So then the next Pokemon I'm going to choose, now that I have kind of some set teams here, is going to be Charizard. And the reason why I've chosen Charizard over Blaziken is the fact that I want to have that Dragon Claw pressure, because if I choose Blaziken, right, as my Lucario counter, that Altaria is going to beat up on my Lucario, but a Charizard will still lose to Altaria, but I can get off a few Dragon Claws, either burning shields or taking Altaria very low. So that alone, I think, is why I went with Charizard, but he also does counter Lucario, Steelix, and Frostlass very well. Now, when it comes to those Pokemon, obviously shielding is going to be an issue because Charizard is very squishy, so shielding the correct move is going to be very crucial in how you use a Charizard. So like with Frostlass, if I don't shield a Shadow Ball, that's going to take a huge chunk out of me. Or Lucario, if I don't shield a Shadow Ball, take a huge chunk of money. So you got to play him right to get his full potential out of him. Now the next Pokemon I'm choosing is a Lowland Marowak, and as you guys have seen, I love using a Lowland Marowak because of the mind games as well. It's the same kind of style as Steelix, where you don't know what's coming. It could be a Bone Club, could be a Shadow Claw, and I like rolling Hex with him to charge those moves. And he's going to be able to do a lot of work against Blaziken, against Charizard, against Lucario, because he has the potential not only to do super effective damage with his Bone Club, but also one-shot with his Shadow Ball. So there's that comes into play, where you can bait shields with a lot of stored energy and then one-shot him on the flip with Shadow Ball. But he does lose to Steelix, he loses to Lapras, and he loses to Bastiodon, so those are things to worry about. But he does, in that sense, he does pair well with Lucario, which is a nice dynamic duo. And thanks to my patrons, they have been nicknamed Lucario's Batman and Lowland Marowak is the Joker, so that's a kind of a funny pairing we have there, and they do work really well together. So now, when it comes to my final pick, as you guys can see there, I have Altaria and Dragonair. And this has been probably the toughest choice that I have, and I'm still not decided. And I don't think I'll decide until game day, unless an update happens, maybe where Aquatail gets an update or something. But I definitely suggest that you have on your roster, you have a flyer, whether that be Altaria or Dragonair, even though Dragonair doesn't really fly, it slithers around, I guess. But the point is that it covers Blaziken, it covers Charizard, it covers basically Lucario's biggest weakness, and it also does well against other dragons. So if there's a Flygon there, they'll be able to handle that very well. But it does lose heavily to the big shields, so an Ice Shard Lapras or a Bastiodon or a Steelix is really going to hurt or be able to take them down. So now the differences between the two, this is why I'm tossed up. Altaria is fantastic against a lot of Pokemon, but if it gets locked in against a Bastiodon, there is literally no hope in sight unless the person decides to stop attacking. And that person can decide to sit there and not attack and still win, because he can let you hit him for a little while and then hit him right back, and then, you know, decide to attack you right back, and he'll still win, because that's how unfair that matchup is. But that's where Dragonair has the potential. Now, the only way Dragonair can win, really, is if Bastiodon doesn't shield and it gets off those Aqua Tails, and ideally if Bastiodon has not full health, so if it's like a half health Bastiodon, those Aqua Tails will be able to finish him off. So that's why I'm torn, because Altaria is a very strong pick, does really well, but it gets locked up against Bastiodon. And then Dragonair isn't as strong as Altaria, but it has that Aqua Tail potential to finish off a Bastiodon if you're stuck in that. And then it also has Aqua Tail to really handle Charizard and Blaziken. So that's kind of where I'm torn right now. So this is going to be my Kingdom Cup team. And obviously I have 5 lock-ins, and then I'm torn between these two. But I hoped this helps you guys figure out how you're going to roll with your teams. And like I asked in my live stream on Friday, what would you guys rather have? One long video of 3 different team setups, or 3 separate videos? And you guys said 3 separate videos, so this is my personal team. And then the other 2 videos I'm going to be coming out with is going to be kind of like a budget or a recycle team of how you can utilize older Pokemon that you already have, or budget type Pokemon, and do well in this tournament. And then the 3rd video will be like the most optimal team. If I had everything available to me with all TMs, unlimited Stardust, you know, we could choose from whatever, then I would pick these 6 Pokemon. So look out for those videos, but this is just what I'm going to be using for my own Kingdom Cup. I hope seeing the team that I'm going to use for my own Kingdom Cup tournament helps you guys in determining what Pokemon you are going to use. So like always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.